Feeling stuck is one of the worst feelings, but it happens to all of us. And I've met so many people through my clarity calls in my groups. And, a lot of people will tell me that they feel like they're killing it. And then all of a sudden they will drop into this low productivity mode and they don't know what happened. And sometimes it's just life. It's just, things are chaotic, things have been crazy, and you just aren't quite sure how to get back on top of things. So in this fourth episode of the Practice Your Perfect podcast, that's what we're going to be talking about: how to get back on top when you just feel like you're in a slump. And sometimes this can come from feeling overwhelmed. It can come from just, chaos. And so I have got the remedy for you. I have been doing this for the last few years, and it's something that's just been working so well. Fierce Visionaries, welcome back to the Practice Your Perfect podcast. If you're new here, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Ashlee Tate. And, creating and managing and maintaining a vision for your life and brand really do require consistent daily practice. And that's the purpose of the Practice Your Perfect podcast. I'm here to create an army of fierce visionaries because it does require you to stay fierce on your goals in order to make an impact on the world by truly unleashing your something amazing and getting your message out there. So each week on this podcast, I'll share tips, strategies, and motivation to help you stay fierce on your goals so you can design a life and business on purpose. So today, we're diving into something that is incredibly powerful for entrepreneurs just like you: creating your personal vision management system. Now, I've come up with this because I didn't really know what to call it. And I feel like that's the best way to explain exactly what this is, because it is kind of a system that you have to put together and you have to start it at some point. And I think during these times of feeling stuck and feeling like you don't know how to get yourself back on track, this is a great time to actually start to create that personal vision management system so that you can, start working the plan. This is a concept I've been using for the last few years, and it's completely changed the way I accomplish my goals and how I manage my calendar, maintain control of my life when things get chaotic, all of those things. So I cannot wait to share this with you because I want to show how you can harness your vision and turn it into actionable steps for success. Okay. So let's get started. If you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes because I want to make sure I get this out correctly for you guys. So before I move into setting goals, though, you first have to understand that your vision really does provide direction for everything that you do. After creating your personal vision, it requires, a fierce focus to really stay intentional and on purpose in order for you to attain what I refer to as your kudos. And what that means is your kudos is really your known ultimate destination of success. And if you're on my newsletter and you get that weekly win, I've talked about your known ultimate destination of success before, or your kudos, because I do feel like it is the base of everything that you're going to do. Like every decision that you're going to make in your life. And I'm talking about even your daily decisions, or like who you're going to hang out with and what kind of time you're going to spend with certain people in your life, and how you're going to, everything comes from your kudos, everything, because what you do on a daily basis is what's going to show up, in your future, right? It determines how your future is going to look. So I preach this to my kids. I preach it to anyone that will allow me to. Having that personal vision is so important. So it's important to take time to create your kudos. Now, oftentimes we will find ourselves making decisions based on someone else's vision. And as I talk about this, you might start to see that in yourself. Like you might be like, hey, the reason I'm feeling overwhelmed, or the reason I feel stuck, is because I'm trying to do all of the things for other people instead of what I need to do for myself. So let's say you've had a busy day running kids around, paying bills, things we absolutely need to do. And at the end of the day, I like to give this example. At the end of the day, you come home, you have 1 hour left for whatever reason. You only have 1 hour of energy left, okay? And there's dishes in the sink. So do you decide to do the dishes, or do you decide to go ahead and just work on your plan, work on your vision, right? You have 1 hour of energy left. And my thing about this is, I know everybody says don't go to bed with dirty dishes in your sink. And my feeling is, and what I tell a lot of my clients is, it's dreams over dishes. right? It's do your dream, because there's always going to be something new taking up your time, eating up your energy. And you have got to have a boundary for yourself to say, no, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm going to do. You can do dishes later when your mental energy is done. You can do the dishes at 11 o'clock at night. But you might not be able to think and write and do and execute on your dream at 7 o'clock, right? Like you may not be able to do that at 11, which you can do at 7. So it's important to keep those things in mind when you're making decisions. When you're making the decision based on your vision rather than making the decision based on what you think you need to do, things change a lot. And it has been absolutely life-changing for my family, and people will respect it when you start doing it. And I talk a lot about boundaries, and you guys know. So anyway, so your personal vision management plan is something that really is going to help you make that vision your number one focus. And there's a saying by Tony Robbins that I love. It says, where focus goes, energy flows. So when you start to focus on your plan, your personal vision system, all of those things, and you start to manage that system, right? And that becomes your focus. And that's why I say fierce focus. When that becomes your focus, you know where you need to spend your time. You know how to prioritize the things that are going to come your way all day, every day. And as a mom and as a wife, these are things that you have to do. You're making decisions all day long, right? Based on your priorities. And I can show you that you do this all the time, because if you had children, when you think about doing something, whatever the activity may be, you'll decide if you're going to do it with, in lieu of your children, or you're going to do it with your children, or you're going to do it, in lieu of time with your kids. Like, we make these decisions without even realizing it, based on what's most important to you. And so your personal vision management system is going to be the catalyst to do that for your vision, your personal vision, not your family vision, not your spouse and you vision, your personal vision. And that has to be managed. Okay, so now that I've done all of that and simplified that in a way that I hope you can understand, it really is that you have to know what success looks like to you, right? So if it means a healthy, happy family, as opposed to a really nice car and a really big home, or whatever it is that most people are looking for, or other people are looking for, not to say that one is better or worse, it really does depend on the decisions that you're going to make to get to either one of those places. And they're going to be drastically different. So that's where the vision management comes in. So, okay, we're going to talk about intentional decision making. So, the first thing I want to talk about is, again, defining your vision, because clarity is really the key when it comes to creating your vision and really understanding what you actually want. Only you can define that, no one else. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take exploration. And I like to also encourage people to use what Dan Coe refers to as an anti-vision. And what this means, it's a critical way to filter out what you absolutely don't want. Sometimes we don't know what we want. Like, especially when you're in an overwhelmed state, you just know maybe you don't want to feel like this again. And then you can ask yourself, well, what got me there? What made me feel this way? What feeling do I not like that I never want to feel again? So I encourage you to start with what you don't want. What don't I want, right? Write that down. Because sometimes all of the noise from society and from social media, they tell us what we should want, right? And we get confused on what we actually want. And that's the purpose of really sitting down with yourself and figuring out your own personal vision. I love doing these on my clarity calls, figuring out what people actually want, forcing them to think really big about what it is that they see as their ultimate goal, not what makes sense, not what we've been told to want, or what we've been told to expect of ourselves in whatever position we are. And I'm telling you, when you start to break down those walls as to what you think you can achieve, that's when the real magic happens. That's when you're really able to unleash your something amazing. So that's what this is all about. Okay. So to begin, you need to ask yourself some important questions, like, what are my long-term goals? And what is a long-term goal that's been given to you that you aren't currently aligned with, right? Like maybe it was motherhood and people expect you to stay home. Maybe it was getting married at a young age and that marriage is no longer serving you or working for you. Like, not to encourage anyone to, change any of these things drastically, but it's okay to write them down. It's okay to say that this is not necessarily what you want. You'll be amazed at what your brain can do to figure out ways to move past that or to work with it or to change it or to evolve or to be resilient. There's so many things. So look at the things that the long-term goals that you are currently working towards that maybe don't align with you anymore. And then also ask yourself, what does success actually look like for me? Right? That's why it's your definition of success, your known ultimate definition of success. And that could mean some people use it for like a year. I like to use mine, and I'll tell you in a second here what mine is all about, like my question that I ask, but I've been doing this for a while. But these are some good intro questions. How do I want to impact my industry or community? You want to write all of this down in detail. And then my absolute favorite is, what do you want in 10 years? Like, what does your vision of your life look like in 10 years? Because the reason I like to use the term 10 years, 5 years, even 7 years, is because that gives you time to work towards the goal, right? Sometimes people are writing down a vision, they expect it to happen next year. That may not happen. You may need time to, reorganize things or kind of become the person that you need to become. And that's really what practicing your perfect is all about. Becoming the person you want to become, right? So that you can achieve that personal vision. So you can make this super simple. This does not have to be difficult. You can open your notes app on your phone. This is all I use. Open my notes app or a Google Doc. And then I just start jotting down ideas about what I want to do. And you don't complicate it. You can also download the Practice Your Perfect workbook to help you get started, and it'll ask you some questions. And that way you can keep everything in one place. And I'll leave that link down in the description. Don't worry about making this a complicated thing. It's just really trying to get you to think bigger than sometimes we allow ourselves to do. And that's very, very common. So you want to use sentence starters like, I don't want, I will have, I will do, in 10 years, I will. Okay. Like, that's my favorite. In 10 years, I will. Just ask yourself these questions. And have fun with it. Like, you don't know what's going to come out. You don't know what's been back there that you've not allowed yourself to really think of because of maybe your circumstance, because you don't know how you're going to get from point A to point B. But that's what this personal vision management plan is all about. It's helping you get from point A to point B, but you have to be able to see long term and think big about what point B is, right? To get there. So once you have that clear vision, right, it's time to really break it down into smaller chunks. And this is where goals turn your vision into action. Okay. But you have to decide and you have to choose that that's what you're going to do. And you have to maintain this over time. And when I say maintain it, that means you're going to have a fierce focus on it. And I like to call it fierce focus because that's really what it takes, right? You're practicing every week, all the time. And I'm sorry if you guys hear any noise. There is someone doing floors in this office building. So sorry about that. So let's start off with SMART goals, right? So everybody's heard of SMART goals. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, maybe you're aiming to increase your monthly revenue by 20% within 6 months. Let's say that's a goal. Or you want to launch a new product and, by the end of the year, or you want to, gain 5,000 followers in the next 3 months, like whatever it is. But you can see how I'm saying, I want to do X, something that I can actually measure, like a number, 5,000, or you're going to do a product, like something that you can actually see that you've completed. And then I'm giving it a time. So we want it to be very specific. Doesn't matter if it doesn't end up being that, but that's the goal that you're working towards. And I say this because you don't want to discount your brain. Like, your brain is an amazing, amazing tool that will work for you when it knows what it's supposed to be doing. And I think that's been the biggest game changer with writing out my personal vision management plan, and having that system in place that I'm going to show you, that is the key. It just makes your brain kick into gear to say, no, this doesn't work for me. No, this isn't what you need to be doing right now. Yes, this is where you need to spend your time. It makes things so much clearer. It helps you prioritize your entire life and everything that you want to do on a day-to-day basis. So if you feel like you're just kind of wandering and you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't know what to focus on, maybe you've started a business and you don't know what to focus on, this will tell you what you need to focus on. And as an entrepreneur, one of the most important things you have to become is a visionary for your business. Because not only are you leading your business, you're leading other people when they come into your business, whether you're running a nonprofit and you lead a board. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to know where you see the future of your business going. If you run a small business, you have people who come in and you're building a culture and you want your employees to be able to provide that culture to every person that walks through that door. These things are so important. But the one thing that people don't start with is they start with all kinds of financial management plans. They start with, a business plan, but they don't have a personal vision management plan. And I never want to say personal vision plan, because it requires management, regular management and focus in order for it to continue on that path. Basically, write down what it really takes, because this is something that is key for me. Sometimes I don't know how I'm going to break it down. Like I have a big vision, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. But if you write down, it could be in another note or in a Google Docs. I use my notes all the time, and at the top of it, I write what it really takes. And then I write down all the things that it would really take, no matter how long, what it would really take for me to launch that product in 6 months or by the end of the year, or what it would take for me to really get 5,000 followers, or what it would take for me to actually, increase my revenue by 20%, in a specific time. What does it actually take? You need to write down every single step that it's actually going to take. And that's when you'll really start to get some traction in understanding which milestones are going to work inside of this plan. Okay. So now that we have, our goals in place, like we know what we're trying to get to, now we have to develop the action plan. And one of the things I love, another saying is, plan the work, work your plan. Okay. So we are creating this plan so that we can just be on autopilot and work the plan. So I want you to break down each goal into actionable tasks, right? So this is how we find those milestones. So now you have the goal, you have the vision, the big vision. You then have goals that you want to set, like that you're kind of trying to reach, the launch a product, the get new followers, all of these things. You have all of those. And then we wrote down on maybe another sheet what it really takes. And then you take your milestones out of that, right? And then you take your actionable steps from that. Like, what do I need to do out of these, what it really takes? What do I actually need to do? Right? We're breaking it all the way down. So there's no gaps. Now, once you start to do all of these breakdowns, right? You just need to assign a date for each of those, like a deadline that you can use for each of those little tasks that came out of the what it really takes. Assign a date. Like, how long would it take you to revamp your website if you want to, increase your revenue? How long would that actually take? Do you need 2 months, 3 months, 1 month, 2 weeks? Start writing deadlines. Start writing those deadlines in. And they're loose deadlines because we don't know for sure. Everything that we're doing, at this point, we are guessing. And that's okay. So we want to do that. Start guessing, start looking and writing all that down. Then we'll prioritize them based on importance and urgency. What needs to be done yesterday in order for us to actually get these things done, right? To achieve that ultimate goal. And it's a nice way to break things down. Then I'm going to show you exactly how it all works together so that you can get it on your calendar exactly the way it needs to be. So stick with me because it takes a minute because it's the first time that you do it. And that's why I wanted to get it all into one video so that you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So this is going to be a long one, guys. I'm sorry. Now, creating the plan is actually pretty easy. That's a lot of like guesswork, right? But how do you implement and then actually manage that plan? Now you have the plan. Now we have to work the plan. So if we're going to work the plan over a long period of time and we're going to keep that fierce focus, this is how you keep the fierce focus. I call this the 161 reset method. That's where this comes into play. So the first thing you need to know about implementation is that this is off of a 13-week cycle. Now, the reason it's a 13-week cycle, and I'll explain this 161 to you really quick here, is because this is going to be what provides the check-ins. So everybody talks about consistency is key. Consistency is the deal. And like, you got to focus. Consistency is great, but oftentimes we get knocked off consistency for whatever reason, especially if you're a mom and you have kids and they have their own schedules going on and teenagers. Yeah. Consistency is great and you do your very best. And I always will encourage you to do your very best to be consistent. However, I believe that check-ins are the most important out of everything because the consistency might lag, but the check-ins are what really are going to show you the progress of what you're doing. So if we start with the 161 method, this is how I track my progress with everything. This is how I get myself out of a rut. This is how I do everything. Everything starts with this 161 reset. So the first part of it is you do the reset process. Now, I've already made a video on the reset process, so I won't go into that, but I will leave that down in the description box. That is then followed by filling out the Practice Your Perfect workbook. Now, this is what creates the personal vision management system. Okay, this is your plan. First, we start with vision casting. Then we create a master list of priorities. Then a week by week priority list and your ideal week followed by your ideal day. Now, you will see this inside the Practice Your Perfect. And I will go through all of this, like how it works. But those are the things that we do to create the actual system and the plan. That is the actual plan. But the personal vision management system encompasses everything, right? The reset process, the creation of the vision casting, all of these things. We do all of that. All of that's in that system. So by creating your ideal situations for your week and your day, along with your priority list, which is pretty much your master list, you're consciously setting intentions and a course for yourself through periods of chaos. So as an example, when I'm feeling overwhelmed or stuck, or I haven't really been home enough to do what I need to do on my regular routines, what I'll do is I have something called a daily docket. And it's a list of things that make me feel good. Like my ideal day is on my calendar every single day. And I'll see if I can show you right now. I'll try to pull it up to show those of you that are watching on this video. So it's on here as my 8 a.m. I don't know if you can see that. Every day it's on my calendar at 8 a.m. And when I open it up, I can go in there. Oh gosh, wait, let me see. I open it. I can go in there and it shows everything that makes me feel good, like the ideal day that I've set up for myself to feel good. And the way I came up with this daily docket is because I had a great day, like a few days in a row. And I was like, I wish I could have every single day like this. And if I could have every single day like this, I think I would just be super successful in what I'm trying to do. I would be able to execute my vision every day. I would be very clear on what needs to get done. And when I get off track, that's what I use. So I just documented everything I did during that day that made me feel good. And some of those things are not things that actually happened in that day, but maybe they happened over the course of that week. And I liked that. And that really comes from practice. So I refine that all the time if I need to. Like if I say, oh, you know what, I've been enjoying working out at night, then I'll take the workout off the morning and I'll put it in at night. And it changes every single daily docket that I have. It's just on a continuing scheduling in my phone. So that's where I think you can really up level your productivity and up level like how you get back on track, because you're using the daily docket every single day. It's just there. You don't have to look at it every single day, but it's there and it's there. It's like your backup. So I use that exact same, personal vision management plan for 6 weeks at a time. So the first one is a 1 week to reset. I do a full reset. I go through my whole reset process. Every 7th week, I go through my full reset process, and it just allows me to really look at things, take a look at metrics, look at what's going on, to reevaluate what's going on, reflect on what's been going on, if it's good or bad, if I'm seeing any improvement, whatever. And the 6 is the 6-week period of time that I essentially put myself on autopilot using that plan. Remember, we make the plan and then we work the plan. So you make the plan in that 1 week reset, then you work the plan in the 6-week reset, and you just work it. You're not checking the scale if you're trying to lose weight every week. You're not trying to do that. You just take a picture of your scale, do that, and then write it down likely in your master list where your metrics are that you're trying to follow up with. And then in 6 weeks, at the end of 6 weeks, you can look and see what those metrics are, see if you've improved, that way it's not like, oh, I messed up today, so I'm off track. No, you stay on that for 6 weeks. And then the next one is to use the daily. Okay. That's just a 1-day check-in. So on the 7th week of the 13-week cycle, I just take 1 day, the last one in the 161 reset method. And this allows me to check my metrics, note any progress, any pivots that might need to make or whatever. And then I go another 6 weeks, and that equals a full 13-week cycle. What you tend to see in that 13-week cycle is you'll see a ton of progress, and you weren't focused on the daily incremental progress. You'll see a good bird's eye view of what actually has been happening, or what's been improving, or what's not working, or whatever. And then when you go back into the next reset, whether it's the 1-day reset or the full week reset, then you can make pivots and make changes and really have all of the information that you need. Now, this started happening after I started YouTube, because what I realized is at first, on my first few videos or first year of videos even, I was looking all the time at the metrics, and I was trying to see like, oh, is this one going to be a good one? Is this one going to work? And it became frustrating, and it took away a lot of my focus on just doing the job and getting the job done. And what I've realized is if I don't look at the metrics every single day, or if I don't look at them every single week, but I look at them in 6 weeks, it gives me a good view of whether or not this actually worked or not, right? Like, was that video going to do well or not? Well, it gives me 6 weeks of metrics to actually evaluate and see, like, maybe that video did actually do better than I thought it was going to do, or vice versa. And it does that for everything. So if I'm trying to lose weight, sometimes I will take a video. I'll take a picture of the weight on the scale, and then I will work out and try to eat well for 6 weeks. And then I'll go back and look, and if the plan didn't work, maybe I was like focused on macros, or maybe I was working out, every day, or whatever the case. And some days you're going to miss, and that's okay. That's why it's called practice. And you are literally just trying to practice what you thought was the perfect situation. At the end of those 6 weeks, you will know if that was the perfect situation or not. And that's much better for your psyche, or at least for me, it worked a lot better for my psyche. If I'm like, okay, well, that didn't seem to work, but now I'm going to go into the next 6 weeks and I'm going to do something different. So, the important thing about this entire personal vision management system is that when you create this plan, you are able to celebrate your small wins along the way to stay motivated. But those small wins don't come in from every day I'm checking. It comes in from like, hey, I worked out, 4 days out of the week instead of 7, or instead of 2, or whatever it is that whatever you're trying to do. And it keeps you focused, but not obsessive. And goals do really require practice, and they require check-ins, and they require you to be focused on them. but you also need to have time to just go do the work. And I think of this as like more of a research and development type of goal setting rather than, a daily progress set of goal setting. So don't be afraid to adjust your plan if needed, but entrepreneurship and the journey of, becoming a creator online and becoming an entrepreneur or running a nonprofit, all of these things, losing weight, everything, it's all a journey. And it is honestly like not a linear journey. And we forget that. So adjust your plan, pivot if you need to, allow yourself to be on autopilot, working the plan, trust yourself for the plan that you actually did come up with. And then, like if there's roadblocks, you'll see them. Like you're able to, those reset periods give you a chance to look ahead to see if there's a roadblock. Or last time I did this, I remember getting really tired. If you're talking about working out, last time I did this, I remember getting really tired and exhausted. So I'm not going to do this next time. It's teaching yourself about yourself, if that makes sense. It's teaching you how to become the person that you need to be in order to achieve the vision that you want. That's why I use this 13-week cycle. That's why I wish I could yell it from the rooftops, but there you guys go. That's a guide to creating your personal vision management system. I think it is the absolute best thing that I use in my life. Like I do feel like it's actually a life hack to get all of the things done. And by following these steps and using these insights, you can actually define your vision, set your goals, and implement a plan that leads to your definition of success. And I think that's the key I want to leave you with. It's your definition of success, right? Remember that clarity, consistent check-ins, and adaptability are really the keys to, gaining your vision of success. So stay inspired, stay focused, and watch your vision come to life. And I will see you guys on the next video. Get out there and unleash your something amazing. Thank you all for tuning into the Practice Your Perfect podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step, head on over to ashleetate.com. You can check out what I have there for you to start building your personal vision management system. And I will have the link down below. I'll try to find a way to combine all of these things. Really thinking about making this into a course. So let me know if you guys are interested. Until next time, keep practicing your perfect and achieving your dreams. And let's practice our way to success together. See you guys in the tribe. Bye.